Okay, so I'm excited to do this, but I'm going to be doing it with my notes too, because I used my notes at Jubilee, and I just felt like that was a little bit better to do. So I don't want to skip anything. But I'm going to just share with you why it's important to have your why, especially now as we're getting into, well, the whole theme of no time to waste. There's no time to waste with your business. It's now. You need to think about what can you do now and start right away. So I'm going to share with you a story. I was sitting at a kitchen table across from my mother, having a conversation with her, pretty much unlike any other conversation I've ever had with her before. I went to her house, I took my kids over, we were hanging out. But man, we're having this conversation, and it was really strange. And this one conversation sticks in my head forever because not once, not twice, but multiple times, she would do this. Oh, you know, that. She couldn't come up with a word that she was trying to use. She kept missing words and not being able to come up with them. It was really, really strange. And it was the first of multiple red flags. That my family saw happening progressively over time. And unfortunately, it was the sign of something that was devastating. At the age of 59, she was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. Younger onset, which means you get diagnosed before the age of 65. She was so young. She died at the age of 66. Sometimes I can talk about this without crying, and sometimes I can't. I hate Alzheimer's disease. I am not okay with the fact that I lost my mother at the age of 66. I'm not. I'm not okay with it. I'll never be okay with it. And I really hate Alzheimer's disease. If you guys had met me 22 years ago, you would have known, and some of you did meet me 22 years ago, and you would have known back then. Jim, are you doing the slides or am I doing the slides? Okay. You would have known back then that my why, my WHY, was to be the mom and the wife that I felt God wanted me to be. I had 3 beautiful children. The biggest blessings in my life to this day. And so I had this deep, deep desire to be a stay-at-home mom. And I needed to raise them. I didn't want someone else raising them. And so back then, my why was my family. And my how was my Tupperware business. My Tupperware business became the tool that allowed me to be that stay-at-home mom and fulfill my why. That was huge. When you understand your why, your how has more impact because you're living out your purpose. So my why, after losing my mom, not only did my life change, but my why changed. So my why now has changed tremendously. It's not the same. It still has to do with my family, but in a very different way. Because now my why is, dang, I hate Alzheimer's disease and I want to see the end of it because I don't want my children and my children's children and generations after them to have to go through what I went through. So although my why has changed, not only has that changed, but my how has changed as well. I felt an impact from this disease so strong, and I was so passionate about seeing the end of it, that I actually went to work for the Alzheimer's Association. And I worked for them. They hired me on for a brand new position, corporate relations director, and I was so excited to go and put my passion into work. And I can tell you, I had such a great responsibility, and I loved every single minute of it. My greatest responsibility was when I could go into a company and share with them in the form of a lunch and learn all about brain health. You know, the 10 warning signs of Alzheimer's disease, what you can do to keep your brain healthy as you age, all kinds of education courses. I can tell you with every fiber of my being that when I did that training, I was the most fulfilled I've ever been in my life, ever. So, fast forward several years, and they realigned all the chapters across the country and started going towards a more volunteer-centric company, and so a lot of positions started being eliminated. Remember, I told you my position was new. So I knew, I saw the writing on the wall, I was pretty sure my position would be one to go. And so I needed to have my plan B in place, and my plan B was the same tool that helped me with my why 22 years ago. My Tupperware business. I could start my Tupperware business again. I can fall back on that. So I came back part-time 1 year ago, actually. 1 year ago, came back part-time to start building my business so that if something were to happen, and it did, I had something to fall back on. So when they eliminated my position, they offered me another one. But remember, I told you what I was doing before, that's when I was fulfilled. That's when I had that passion overflowing out of me. That other position they offered, not so much. I would not be doing what I was doing. It would just be another job. So when they offered me that other position, I thought, I prayed about it, I thought about it, I talked to a few people about it, and I thought, man, if I could have like some impact working for them, how much of an impact could I have doing it on my terms? Because now with my Tupperware business, there's no rules and regulations about how I can talk about the Alzheimer's Association and the disease. And no red tape, and no territories. And all those things that I didn't like about corporate America, whether you're in a nonprofit or not, you still have to stick to all those things, right? The best thing that I could get away from, rush hour traffic, coming and going. So when I thought about that, I was like, oh my gosh, I kind of like this idea. And so I decided I'm gonna do my Tupperware business and use that to reach the goals that I want to reach, incorporating my why, and so my Tupperware business became my how again, which was really exciting. So let's see. Wait, I think there's something else I want to share with you. Hang on. Sorry. Okay. So when I was making that decision, here's one of the things I was thinking about. When I'm presenting like I am right now, this is what I love to do, guys. This is like inside of me, like God put it there, and I need to do something with it. So whether it's at a Tupperware party with a group of 10, or if it's at Champion Enterprises in a group of 30 or 50, or if it's at Jubilee with a group of 200 or 3,000, that's what I love to do. I hate Alzheimer's disease with a passion. So when I married those two things together, doing what I'm doing and reaching other people about should I not be moving? I'm so sorry. Okay. That just made a lot of sense. Can you guys follow me on that? Does that make sense to you? Okay. So one thing I want to make clear to you is that your why is not a goal. It is not, I want to be director in 6 months. It's not, I want to drive a company car. It's not, I want to make $1,000 a month or $100,000 a year. Those are goals. Those are completely different than a why. And a lot of people get those two things confused. Very, very different, okay? So what I want to do is help you kind of formulate what your why is. So we have 4 questions up on the board, or up on the screen. Whoops. So So first is, what makes you come alive? So when I'm asking you this question, this means, what are you passionate about? What are you passionate about? Think about it. Can you think of something? And so listen, doing this is you're not gonna come up with your why in the next 15 minutes. It doesn't usually happen that fast, unless you already know your why. But this is gonna help you start to formulate, how do I come up with my why? And what could it be? So the first question is, what makes you come alive? And I'm asking you, what are you passionate about? Because when you put your focus and your energy in something you're passionate about, look out. Look out, world. That makes all the difference in the world in your business. Number 2, what are your innate strengths? Listen, every single one of you sitting in the seats today, God put something unique and special to you inside of you. It's a talent. It's an ability that you have. You need to figure out what that is. I think I know what mine is. And maybe someday it'll be different, I don't know. But I know what's in there now. I know what I could use right now. So you need to think about what are those strengths and abilities, because when you marry that to your passion, oh my gosh, your impact is greater. Your joy and your fulfillment is through the roof because you're doing something you love for the reason that you love. Does that make sense? Okay, number 3, where do you add the greatest value? So my question to you would be, when you're thinking about this, think about what problem is out there that you want to solve. Or what problems are out there that you would like to figure out how to solve. So for me, the problem is there's no cure for Alzheimer's. That's a huge problem. So I might not be able to solve that by myself, but I can make a difference. I can make a difference towards raising the funds, towards the research, so someday there is a cure. So that's the problem I have right now. Now, my why was different 22 years ago. Alzheimer's was not on my radar. So your why can change multiple times throughout your life. We're talking about right now, what is your why? So where do you, did we skip one? Okay, how will you measure your life? Have you ever heard the saying, when people who don't stand for anything who don't stand for something will fall for anything? Okay, this is where you figure out what you're going to stand for. Because listen, the person that really needs to believe in your why is you. I don't need to believe in your why. I don't need to be passionate about it. You need to be. You have to figure out what that is. That's when there's a difference. That's when things really happen for you. So that was taken out of Forbes magazine, which was really, really helpful for us. Okay. Okay. 3 key factors of your why. So remember, I said you have to be the one that believes in it. You need to be the person that believes your why is important and meaningful. I totally believe my why is worth every ounce of my energy and time. Period. No one can ever sway me from that, ever, until there's a cure. Okay? Number 2 is you must believe you know how to achieve your goal through clear plans and strategies. And now we're talking about with your business. So think about this with your business. Something that's important to you, something that becomes your why. How can you accomplish your goals through your why? So for me, marrying the 2 together, I can go ahead and reach more people to educate them about Alzheimer's and also do fundraising to raise funds to put towards research so we have a cure. And I know how I can do that. I'll share that with you. And then the last one is you must believe that you can execute those plans and strategies. So the way that I execute those plans and strategies, couple examples. When I'm at a party, I talk about Alzheimer's all the time. My opening is why I'm in Tupperware now. That includes, I used to work for the Alzheimer's Association. Why did I work there? I mean, my why is incorporated through all of that. They hear it from minute 1 with me, and then at the end, at the closing, when I'm looking for datings, I'm asking them to date a fundraiser. That's one of the options. How many times have any of you been to a party and you ask for datings, however you do your dating bid, and someone says to you, oh, I don't need any more Tupperware, I don't need to do a party. Have you ever heard that? Has anyone ever heard that? Okay, because I've heard that. You know what the answer to that is? I'm so glad you don't need more Tupperware, but guess what? The Alzheimer's Association needs your help. We really need your help. If you could date a party, I can use the funds and put it towards research for the Alzheimer's Association. Would you help me with that? Who's going to turn down a good cause? And if they don't want to do the Alzheimer's Association, which is always my first choice, maybe they want to do American Cancer Society. Maybe they want to do autism awareness, whatever it is. So that's one of the ways that I incorporate and execute my plans and strategies. Reaching out to businesses and offering to do fundraising for them so that they can take those funds and put it towards their charity of choice. Hopefully it's the Alzheimer's Association. So those are just some ideas on how we do that, okay? Okay. I usually go into the stats because I think it's important. I know when I go to a party, somebody there has already been touched by this disease, or sadly, they're going to be. So either way, for me, it's a privilege to be able to help them. So I go in feeling really good about that. Feeling really good about the fact that I can share how I can help them raise money for their walk team, or I can work and partner with them together to raise funds to put towards research, or whatever it is that they want to do. Every 65 seconds, somebody's diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease in the United States. And I know I've shared that with you guys before. If you've been around me at all in the last year, you know my passion for this. You know that I know these things and I want to see the end of it. If there's anyone that doesn't know, then you probably don't know me yet. But now you know I'm passionate about it. It's the 6th leading cause of death in the United States, and it kills more people than breast cancer and prostate cancer combined. And that's a stat that people don't know. They don't realize. So I like to share that information with people when they come up to talk to me about the disease, It's really important to be able to educate on brain health and different things that you can do at your parties, incorporating healthy foods for brain health. That's really important. So those are ways that I can reach out and help people and incorporate my passion into my business. So I hope that helps you a little bit. I'm going to tell you that figuring out your why does not happen in 10 or 15 minutes. It doesn't happen while I'm standing here on stage. It's not going to happen. But there's something deep inside of you, and you need to figure out what that is. No one can tell you. That's up to you to figure out. And, Julie Monty had suggested it's even something that could have been inside of you when you were a kid. That you just haven't used it. You haven't thought about using it for your business. So that's kind of what we want to share with you, because if you're kind of stuttering a little bit in your business right now, can you imagine what will happen if you suddenly have a why that gets you excited to do your business, to get up and go and do more with a passion for something that's really important to you? It can make a huge difference, you guys. Huge, huge difference. So I would suggest to you, take the time, go over those. I'm sure we'll probably have them for them to look over those questions. But seriously, try to figure out what your why is and incorporate that into your business and see huge, huge things happen. I'm telling you, if nothing else, it motivates you. It motivates you, because when all you have is a goal, that's all you have. A goal doesn't necessarily motivate you. Sometimes it's just the opposite. But when you have a passion for something that's deep inside you that's really important, that will get you up in the morning. That will make you make the next phone call, because you know what? I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up. And I'm sure, maybe you're thinking of a cause that's important to you right now. I bet you, if there's something really important to you, you'll feel the exact same way. So take the time and figure it out, and good luck.